This is Chapter 51 of Following the Equator. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Following the Equator by Mark Twain, Chapter 51. Benares, a Religious Temple. A Guide for Pilgrims to Save Time in Securing Salvation. Let me make the superstitions of a nation, and I care not who makes its laws, or its songs either. Pudd'nhead Wilson's New Calendar. Yes, the city of Benares is in effect just a big church, a religious hive whose every cell is a temple, a shrine or a mosque, and whose every conceivable earthly and heavenly good is procurable under one roof, so to speak, a sort of Army and Navy stores, theologically stocked. I will make out a little itinerary for the pilgrim. Then you will see how handy the system is, how convenient, how comprehensive. If you go to Benares with a serious desire to spiritually benefit yourself, you will find it valuable. I got some of the facts from conversations with the Reverend Mr. Parker and the others from his Guide to Benares. They are, therefore, trustworthy. 1. Purification. At sunrise you must go down to the Ganges and bathe, pray, and drink some of the water. This is for your general purification. 2. Protection against hunger. Next, you must fortify yourself against the sorrowful earthly ill just named. This you will do by worshiping for a moment in the Cow Temple. By the door of it you will find an image of Ganesh, son of Shiva. It has the head of an elephant on a human body. Its face and hands are of silver. You will worship it a little, and pass on into a covered veranda, where you will find devotees reciting from the sacred books, with the help of instructors. In this place are groups of rude and dismal idols. You may contribute something for their support, then pass into the temple, a grim and stenchy place, for it is populous with sacred cows and with beggars. You will give something to the beggars, and reverently kiss the tails of such cows as pass along, for these cows are peculiarly holy, and this act of worship will secure you from hunger for the day. 3. The poor man's friend. You will next worship this god. He is at the bottom of a stone cistern in the temple of Dalbaiswar, under the shade of a noble peepul tree on the bluff overlooking the Ganges, so you must go back to the river. The poor man's friend is the god of material prosperity in general, and the god of the rain in particular. You will secure material prosperity, or both, by worshiping him. He is Shiva, under a new alias, and he abides in the bottom of that cistern in the form of a stone lingam. You pour Ganges water over him, and in return for this homage you get the promised benefits. If there is any delay about the rain, you must pour water in until the cistern is full. The rain will then be sure to come. 4. Fever. At the Kedar Ghat you will find a long flight of stone steps leading down to the river. Halfway down is a tank filled with sewage. Drink as much of it as you want. It is for fever. 5. Smallpox. Go straight from there to the Central Ghat. At its upstream end you will find a small whitewashed building, which is a temple sacred to Sitala, goddess of smallpox. Her understudy is there, a rude human figure behind a brass screen. You will worship this for reasons to be furnished presently. 6. The Well of Fate. For certain reasons you will next go and do homage at this well. You will find it in the Dantpan temple in the city. The sunlight falls into it from a square hole in the masonry above. You will approach it with awe, for your life is now at stake. You will bend over and look. If the fates are propitious, you will see your face pictured in the water far down in the well. If matters have been otherwise ordered, a sudden cloud will mask the sun, and you will see nothing. This means that you have not 6 months to live. If you are already at the point of death, your circumstances are now serious. There is no time to lose. Let this world go, arrange for the next one. Handily situated at your very elbow is opportunity for this. You turn and worship the image of Mahakal, the great fate, and happiness in the life to come is secured. If there is breath in your body yet, you should now make an effort to get a further lease of the present life. You have a chance. There is a chance for everything in this admirably stocked and wonderfully systemized spiritual and temporal Army and Navy store. You must get yourself carried to the 7. Well of Long Life. This is within the precincts of the moldering and venerable Bridkal Temple, which is one of the oldest in Benares. You pass in by a stone image of the monkey god, Hanuman, and there, among the ruined courtyards, you will find a shallow pool of stagnant sewage. It smells like the best Limburger cheese, and is filthy with the washings of rotting lepers, but that is nothing. Bathe in it. Bathe in it gratefully and worshipfully. For this is the fountain of youth, these are the waters of long life. Your gray hairs will disappear, and with them your wrinkles and your rheumatism, the burdens of care and the weariness of age, and you will come out young, fresh, elastic, and full of eagerness for the new race of life. Now will come flooding upon you the manifold desires that haunt the dear dreams of the morning of life. You will go whither you will find 8. Fulfillment of desire, to wit, to the Kameshwar temple sacred to Shiva as the Lord of Desires. Arrange for yours there, and if you like to look at idols among the pack and jam of temples, there you will find enough to stock a museum. You will begin to commit sins now with a fresh, new vivacity, therefore it will be well to go frequently to a place where you can get 9. Temporary cleansing from sin, to wit, to the well of the earring. You must approach this with the profoundest reverence, for it is unutterably sacred. It is, indeed, the most sacred place in Benares, the very holy of holies in the estimation of the people. It is a railed tank with stone stairways leading down to the water. The water is not clean. Of course it could not be, for people are always bathing in it. As long as you choose to stand and look, you will see the files of sinners descending and ascending, descending soiled with sin, ascending purged from it. The liar, the thief, the murderer, and the adulterer may here wash and be clean, says the Reverend Mr. Parker in his book. Very well. I know Mr. Parker, and I believe it. But if anybody else had said it, I should consider him a person who had better go down in the tank and take another wash. The god Vishnu dug this tank. He had nothing to dig with but his discus. I do not know what a discus is, but I know it is a poor thing to dig tanks with, because by the time this one was finished it was full of sweat, Vishnu's sweat. He constructed the site that Benares stands on, and afterward built the globe around it, and thought nothing of it, yet sweated like that over a little thing like this tank. One of these statements is doubtful. I do not know which one it is, but I think it difficult not to believe that a god who could build a world around Benares would not be intelligent enough to build it around the tank too, and not have to dig it. Youth, long life, temporary purification from sin, salvation through propitiation of the great fate, these are all good, but you must do something more. You must 10. Make salvation sure. There are several ways. To get drowned in the Ganges is one, but that is not pleasant. To die within the limits of Benares is another, but that is a risky one, because you might be out of town when your time came. The best one of all is the pilgrimage around the city. You must walk. Also, you must go barefoot. The tramp is 44 miles, for the road winds out into the country a piece, and you will be marching 5 or 6 days. But you will have plenty of company. You will move with throngs and hosts of happy pilgrims, whose radiant costumes will make the spectacle beautiful, and whose glad songs and holy pans of triumph will banish your fatigues and cheer your spirit, and at intervals there will be temples where you may sleep and be refreshed with food. The pilgrimage completed, you have purchased salvation and paid for it, but you may not get it unless you 11. Get your redemption recorded. You can get this done at the Saki Binayak Temple, and it is best to do it, for otherwise you might not be able to prove that you had made the pilgrimage in case the matter should some day come to be disputed. That temple is in a lane back of the cow temple. Over the door is a red image of Ganesh of the elephant head, son and heir of Shiva, and Prince of Wales to the theological monarchy, so to speak. Within is a god whose office it is to record your pilgrimage and be responsible for you. You will not see him, but you will see a Brahmin who will attend to the matter and take the money. If he should forget to collect the money, you can remind him. He knows that your salvation